But let's start back. This is sort of when I was introduced to Loomer on a big scale, is back when there was that play, the Caesar play, where they were like killing Donald Trump. And so Laura Loomer, she ended up running up on the stage and screaming some things. She got a lot of media attention for it. I personally didn't really care for it, and I ended up putting her in a gas chamber meme on Twitter and getting suspended for doing that. But we're friends now. We're all good now. But in the last couple months, Laura has told me some different versions of the story. She said some things about where she worked at the Rebel Media, that they sort of silenced her and didn't allow her to say the things she wanted to say. So I'm not going to say it all here, and I'm going to let Laura say it. You'll hear it from the horse's mouth. So I would love to introduce our very special guest, Laura Loomer. And if you could please start from when the play happened and sort of tell your series of events, and then we'll have Jim come in and rebut. So go ahead, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So a lot of people first came to know me after I stormed the stage of Julius Caesar Shakespeare in the Park, even though, I've been doing a lot of work prior to that. I was involved with Project Veritas for 3 years. And so I have done a lot of really great journalism and a lot of important things for the right and, for the conservative cause, but I was undercover. So a lot of people just didn't really know me. And one of the first, instances of people really in the public eye or becoming really a public figure was after I stormed the stage. And after I stormed the stage, Ezra Levant over at Rebel Media had launched freelaura.com. And it was a website in case, I guess he created it as a way to raise money for legal funds. But I could never see how much money was going into that account. And then when I was in jail, I guess Jim Hoft over at Gateway Pundits, Chuck Johnson, and a few other people were like, oh, let's start a WeSearcher for her. I never created the WeSearcher account. And I know I got a lot of shit for this because people were accusing me of trying to set up multiple fundraisers, but I had no involvement in setting up either of those fundraisers. I personally did not establish any of those fundraisers. So then when I'm in jail, I guess money kept coming into the WeSearcher, and I guess people were also donating to Free Laura. And then a few days later, the only thing people were focusing on is, oh, well, why was the website set up ahead of time? Or why does Laura need all of this money when she's just going to get a fine and, have to pay a fine? Well, that then transpired into getting a lot of negative media coverage and just people coming after me nonstop online. And after a while, it just kind of became a little unbearable because people were making videos about me saying that I was stealing money and that I basically knew I was going to get arrested ahead of time, which is why I raised all this money, which, like I said, again, I had nothing to do with raising any of the money. And then I started to get death threats from people. People started calling me at weird hours of the night and attacking me. So then I reached out to, I would respond to some of them too on Twitter, but then I reached out to Ezra one day and I said, hey, I'm getting a lot of hate online and people are trying to damage my reputation and say that I'm a scam artist and that I'm raising all this money and taking donations. And I haven't received a penny of the donations because that is going to you. None of it was to ever go to me. And I said, can you release a statement, please? Because I'd really like people knowing that this money is not going to me, that it's going to you to pay legal fees and whatever Rebel does with it. And I showed you the email. Mm-hmm. And you saw what was in the email. And he said no. He said, no, you can respond to some of them if you want and clear things up. But I don't think you understand. I was getting hundreds, thousands of notifications with people just spreading these lies, attacking me. And, a statement coming from him, from the official company that employed me, would be more powerful than just a statement coming from me because people were accusing me of being a liar. So then shortly after he had told me that I could defend myself online if I wanted to, but he wasn't going to release a statement telling people where the money was going and how much money they were raised. I wanted to take a transparent. I wanted everybody to know how much Laura got, where it was going. How much money. The WeSearcher, I think it was
So you said a bunch of people made these awful videos about you and sort of spread these lies about you. So I believe one of these awful videos was made by Jim. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he made a video called like Laura Loomer's Dirty Bloomers. And in the video, he just, attacked me for various different things. And I think he accused me of using funds from the researcher to pay for a nose job, which was totally not true because I had not even received any of the researcher money the time that I had my nose operated on. And then also I never received the full amount because Ezra also told Jim and Chuck, oh, hey, that money was supposed to go to Rebel. So even though it was supposed to go to my legal funds and he had already raised enough money to pay for my legal funds in the Free Laura account, he used the researcher money as well. And then I believe I received about $2,000 or so, maybe a little over $2,000 of the researcher money. But I didn't know. Ezra had told me all along that that was supposed to go for my legal fees. Okay. Chuck had indicated that it was just going to go to me. So they had said, oh yeah, this researcher money will go to you. But then Ezra came in and said, no, I'm taking the researcher money. So at the end of the day, like people are under the impression that I received like thousands and thousands of dollars for this. And I didn't receive anything more than probably $2,000. And I received that money probably about a month and a half ago. So
okay. Well,
after I had to literally.
Why don't we let Jim respond here?
Oh, okay. Well, all right. A couple things to go over. I'm fairly certain I didn't say you got a nose job with the money. It might have been in there as a joke, but I don't recall that in particular. There were a few things that I covered in the video, and I'd like to talk back and forth with you about that. One of the things I found interesting about what you're saying is about Ezra. I know a lot of people that left Rebel Media accused him of basically bilking his audience, having petitions and fundraisers for things, and there was kind of a almost he hid where the money was going. So you're saying that he raised all this money for your legal fees. That's what he's telling people who are donating, but then he's not giving you that money?
Well, I was told that the fundraiser, the freelaura.com, it wasn't really a fundraiser. It was just a page where people could contribute to legal fees. But then it never really told you how much money was raised, even though I believe it had like a $20,000 goal or something. But I never saw how much money.
The page that was set up, though, to raise money for your legal fees, freelaura.com, that was raising money for your legal battle. And I'm not putting this off on you. I'm talking about Ezra on this particular issue. He didn't give you all that money that was raised.
Well, he didn't give me a penny. I didn't receive any of that money. And that's
so
why I'm so pissed off. Well, people were accusing me of taking money. They thought all of this money was going to me, okay? And my legal fees cost, I believe it was $8,500 is how much it costs to like get the lawyer and get everything dropped so that I didn't have to like spend a few days in jail and be charged with like a misdemeanor in trespassing and disorderly conduct. So
Sorry to cut in here real quick, but I just got to ask real quick. So if all this was going down, why wasn't this something you like brought to the attention of? Why didn't you tell your friends?
You're not even realizing what she just said on your show. She's saying that Ezra of Rebel Media, the owner of Rebel Media, defrauded the audience by not giving the legal money to Laura. He stole money.
Wow.
That's what you're saying.
I wouldn't say fraud. He paid for my legal fees, but what I don't understand is that I don't know how much money was raised on freelaura.com. Okay?
How much money did you get from him if you had to put a total amount on it?
I didn't receive any money from him besides like what my salary was when I was working for him.
So that's what I'm saying. All the money that he raised from freelaura.com, he didn't give you any of it.
Yeah, because I was just very confused.
He stole from his audience. This is fucking amazing. Ezra stole money from his audience by defrauding people and telling them it was going to a legal fucking battle.
All I know is that, like I said, the legal fees, I'm not like confirming or denying that because I don't know if I would use the word fraud, but all I know, and I wanted to
give you any money.
The money was supposed to go to legal fees, but then the researcher, like I said, there were two separate accounts. There was the researcher money, and then there was Free Laura. I have no idea how much money was raised from Free Laura, but I know it was at least over $1,000 because someone had told me they donated $1,000. Then the researcher account had, I think, like 12 or 13 $15,000 in it. And then I was under the impression that that was also going to Ezra. But then Jim Hoft from Gateway Pundit and Chuck Johnson had messaged me one day, and they're like, oh, did you take your money out yet? Because I want to make sure you have that, especially if you're going to be like doing your independent journalism. And I was like, what money? I thought that was going to Ezra. Like, I was told that money wasn't for me. I was told Ezra was taking it for legal fees. And then they got annoyed and they were like, no, we wanted that money to go to you. So then they were going back and forth, like talking about the fees. And then they were asking them like how much money was raised from Free Laura. And then he said, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, all I know is that the fees cost $8,500. So how much was in Free Laura? But he also took $8,500 from the researcher, and then I was given the rest of it. So pretty much like 90% or like 85% of the money that was raised in researcher went to Ezra as well, or went to Rebel, not me.
Wait. He took that money from you?
Yeah, I didn't get money from, money from
Ezra
Free Laura, and I didn't get.
This is fucking amazing. Why have I not heard about this before? If you're telling me Ezra, the guy that owns fucking Rebel Media, is stealing money.
I'll tell you why you haven't heard about this. So the reason I remember I called Baked, and he can vouch for me. Like, I was so upset one night. I think I was like crying, and I called him, and I was so upset because so many people were like attacking me online and accusing me of being what is that, like that word they use for people who are always creating like GoFundMes. They were accusing me of being a professional shill, right? And then they were trying to like damage my reputation and say that all I do is like scam people for money online, when I hadn't received any of this money. Bates goes, well, why don't you talk about it? And I said, because they told me I'm not allowed to use my Twitter. So I would have defended myself, and I would have talked about this more and actually like made more of a statement. But then after a lot of this happened, and before I did my Hillary Clinton video, Ezra told me I wasn't allowed to tweet anything unless it was like a retweet of another Rebel employee's video, or like talking about my videos at Rebel. So I couldn't even defend myself or come out and make a statement or address any of these issues, because he literally put me on a Twitter ban.
Did you talk about it after you left Rebel? I know you left Rebel, I think it was September 24th. And I mean, you cited the disagreement.
That's why I left Rebel, because I was tired of being told what I could and couldn't do. And like, I was told when I first signed my contract, I was told that I would be able to tweet and say whatever I want. And then some of the things that I was tweeting, you know, had upset him and offended him. And he was like, you know, I think it's best that you don't use Twitter. And I wasn't able to really defend myself or say anything. And I had asked him to make a statement, and he wouldn't make a statement. And look, I'm not trying to rag on him to address it, because people always wonder, well, if you really didn't do this, then why don't you show us the proof, or why don't you actually talk about it? Well, I was told I could not talk about this.
I got to cut in right here. I mean, I think someone needs to be ragged on. So it's either you or Ezra. I mean, obviously this was a shit show. Like there's got to be someone to blame here. But a lot of the questions in the chat and a lot of the super chats are saying, why was the Free Laura site set up in advance if you didn't know you were going to get arrested? Like what was your part of that?
Okay, so this is so what happened was, I had told him, hey, I'm going to go to Shakespeare in the Park tonight, and I didn't think I was going to storm the stage. I didn't know what my seats were going to be. I didn't know I was going to get tickets, because it was a lottery. And then what ended up happening is I found someone who was selling tickets.
Hey, sorry, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? Like, it just froze for a second.
Yeah, Ezra got her.
I realized that I had
Go on.
No, sorry, repeat the last few sentences you said.
What do you mean?
It froze.
Which part?
Yeah,
The
just repeat what you said.
Yeah.
Oh, I said I didn't know that I was going to be storming the stage, because the way it worked to get into this play is that you had to show up at like 5 a.m. to win a lottery. And I didn't win the lottery. So I was looking around for ticket scalpers all morning long. And then I found a ticket scalper, and I paid for 2 tickets.
So he made this website just in the mere chance that you would win a lottery?
So then what happened is, I said, it was on a Friday, I believe. And I said, he goes, oh, well, our staff isn't going to be here on the weekend in case something happens, like in case you get arrested, because I don't know what's going to happen in New York if you do this protest and blah, 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 blah. It's not like I was planning to get arrested. And so I think that was like a precautionary way in case something did go wrong. But people think there's some conspiracy behind it to make money. Fact of the matter is, I didn't receive a single penny from any of that. And I also wasn't really supported for my idea within the company I was working.
Laura, there obviously was a conspiracy behind making money on this, obviously by Ezra. Well, if he didn't give you any of the money, he obviously was bilking idiots for cash.
Well, it was my second or third week working there. How was I supposed to know?
Oh, no, I'm not laying this on you. I'm really not. I've heard enough stories about Ezra and how he conducts himself with employees to believe what you're saying. This is a minor thing.
Right, but then what happens then is that it ends up hurting me. So now there are so many people on the internet who are like, oh, she just used money to get a nose job, or oh, she used these donations for herself, and oh, she stole all this money from people and she's a grifter. First of all, I didn't steal any money from anybody. And the reason why I left is because I didn't like a lot of this stuff. I didn't like the fact that I was being told that I couldn't tweet. I didn't like the fact that I was being told that no statement could be released, and that, don't engage in this drama on social media. Just get back to doing important work. When, no one's going to watch my videos. No one's going to want to engage with me professionally if there's all these lies out there and all these videos accusing me of being. And it just kept bothering me to the point.
Laura, if you left, though, Rebel Media on September 24th, why didn't you go public with it after you had left the company?
I went public in an interview, I think, with Canada Land. They interviewed me, and we talked about some of this stuff about Twitter. And because really, honestly, I don't like talking about it. I don't like bringing up this whole the baggage of the past, and I don't want to have to say, oh, well, I didn't use any of this money because I didn't get the money, because it's drama. And look, I know people.
If your reputation is being smeared, though, if Ezra took this money and he didn't give it to you, if he defrauded people that were fans of the Rebel Media and subscribers, and you're out of your contract and you've left the company and you don't like being smeared with people saying, oh, she just took the cash to get a nose job, why wouldn't you address it? If your boss stole money and basically got you shit on, why wouldn't you say something?
I addressed it in several interviews in the past. I addressed it, I believe, with Michael Malice and a few other people. But, I thought to myself, well, you have to pick and choose your battles. Like, there are still people online, even if I were to explain all of this and make a YouTube video and talk about the emails and talk about, the money and show the statement from Chuck Johnson and the emails from Jim Hoff, like, people still would have this impression in their mind. Like, my reputation, in a sense, with that regard, has already been damaged. And when people hear things about you, or when people see things online, their opinion is already solidified. So you just making a statement about it probably isn't going to change. Or
yeah, but if you have emails, so if you have proof, here's the thing I don't understand. I understand political theater. You're going to go to Shakespeare in the Park. It's going to be a big thing. It'll be an interesting story. If you've engaged in that before, and I'm fine with that. I know a lot of people that do it for all sorts of reasons. So what better political theater could there be than showing proof and saying, my former boss of the company that I worked at not only told me to shut up about this, but he stole money from my legal defense?
Well, I showed Baked Alaska. Baked, you want to chime in? You saw the emails, what, a week ago? I showed you one morning?
Yeah. And that's why I'm giving you an opportunity right now. I'm giving you a platform to explain yourself. And if it were me, I told you this. I said, if it were me, if this happened to me, my character was being defamed and everyone thought this shit about me, the first thing I would do once I left that job, I would be, I would tell everyone and be like, yo, this is what happened, because I would want to clear my name. I understand, it's not the easiest thing to do to, speak out against your former employer, but in my opinion, it's either going to be you getting burned or him getting burned. Like obviously there was some, there was a miscommunication here. There was some maybe foul play, I might say. And so it's either, do you want to carry that weight, or do you want to tell the truth and show people what actually happened?
Hey, sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm talking.
May you explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you able to explain what was on the emails exactly, or are you not allowed to say it?
I forget all the exact details. Whatever Laura is comfortable sharing, she can share.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go through and look for emails, or I was going to, but the main email that I had showed Baked was the one where I said, where I read it to him on the phone and I showed him a screenshot. I said, hey, like, I'd really appreciate if you could like release some statements so people stop accusing me of like being, you know, embezzling money or taking money or whatever. And he said, no, like taking money or whatever. And he said, no, like.
Yeah, no, I do remember this. This was actually fucked up. Laura did ask, in Laura's defense, Laura asked Ezra through email and said, hey, you know, she called me on the phone crying one day. She was getting death threats. She was like totally getting made fun of and all this. And she's like, can you make a statement from Rebel Media saying that, you know, this isn't going to me, this money isn't going to me, etc. And yeah, Ezra denied those to make any statement about it. And I think that's extremely negligent if I had an employee and and I did something and then this employee is just getting completely shit on social media to the point where, you know, people are telling her to kill herself and all that. Like, that's terrible. I've been, you know, at the end of those sort of attacks. And, you know, I think it was Ezra's responsibility to make a statement, say, hey, you know, this isn't all on Laura. We made some steps as a company that put her at risk or made it appear that she did stuff that she didn't really do. And then, yeah, she did show me that email. They would not put out a statement.
But why would Ezra do that if he's robbing people?
That's a good point.
And here's the thing. I mean,
I'm saying any ethical employer would do that for their employees.
Well, obviously, Ezra's not ethical. I mean, here's my point. Based on what she said on the stream already, she's already standing in the grave. Ezra is going to flip his shit just based on what we've heard now. I would recommend releasing the emails. Let people see it.
Well, that's up to Laura. I mean, it's on Laura's name, not mine.
Look, I always try to be professional and respectful, and I always try to, you know, not burn professional bridges when I can, right? And that's why, honestly, I never really released anything or never really talked about it. I tried to just bury it and leave it behind me and, you know, let it be. But Baked asked me to talk about it and then I saw your video as well, and things that were in there, like, because of this, for example, because people thought this whole researcher thing was something I constructed when my whole tire incident happened, people were creating like fake GoFundMe accounts, things that I didn't do. I didn't create any GoFundMe account for anything. And then they were saying, oh, look, she's trying to like raise money for her tires too. So then there was all these rumors like, oh, she's raising money for legal fees, but really using it for surgery. And then she's for tires. And then even Ezra emailed me the link to the GoFundMe for the tire page and was like, this isn't really yours, is it? Because people were like convincing him and others that I did that. And I said to myself, and I said to him, this wouldn't have happened if you would actually like release a statement. Like, people wouldn't be saying things like this and creating these fake profiles and accounts to try and damage my reputation if you were to have just released a statement saying that I never took any of the money. But he wouldn't.
Yeah. I asked you to come on, and I want to hear Worski's take on this. You know, if that were you, Worski, like, I don't think that's unprofessional of you to simply, you know, you're not employed by him now. I totally get you don't want to like cause drama and you don't want to like smear somebody, but like I said before, it's either like his character or the Rebels character or your character. And like, what do you think about that, Andy?
Well, you're saying that you don't want to burn bridges with, like, you know, some people, but if your reputation is screwed because of this, it doesn't matter what bridge you burn, your whole life's going to be fucked up from here forward. You know what I mean? So you have to just, you know what I mean? Just burn that bridge because it's going to make everything better. You know, people are looking at you in a really bad light, obviously. And who cares, like, what happens with him? You know what I mean? It's not like he's going to rehire you after all this shit, you know?